So, time. Dear judges, my name is Jakub Pilař, and I'm head roaster at Beansmith Coffee Roastery. And I'm so glad to share my coffee and his story with you today. You will also notice that in many cases, coffee is not given the respect it deserves. It's often wasted. This is not just a problem for ordinary customers, but also for professionals who work with it every day and no longer see the work and the human stories hidden in each bean, either on the farms, in the roasteries, or anywhere else in the chain. I've always tried to show people how beautiful coffee is, both in taste and through the whole process before we get it in the cup. Last year, I was able to look deeper into the whole process, and it was fascinating. In November, I went to Colombia to choose my competition coffee, and my idea was to take the geisha variety because I like its flavor profile. But after meeting Oscar Hernandez, the owner of Los Nogales farm, I changed my mind. It was the first farm I've ever been to, and I was absolutely blown away. In Huila region, at over 1700 meters above sea level, it stands over the beautiful valley, full of tropical vegetation. A sweet smell of fermented coffee cherries fill the air. I listened to Oscar's story and understood his way of thinking about farming and processing. He experiments with fermentation with passion and with respect with the source. He tried not to destroy the natural flavor of the variety, but to enhance it. That's why I've chosen his coffee. My competition coffee is quite recently discovered variety in Colombia. It's called Bourbon Pimienta. It's originally an Ethiopian variety. It's interesting for its slightly spicy taste, red fruits flavor, and floral notes reminding of geisha. What I'm going to taste today is my 4 kilogram slot, what I harvested and processed by myself. Did you know how many kilograms of coffee cherries you need for 4 kilograms of green coffee? I was surprised I need 28 kilos. It took me over 3 hours to pick it up. At this moment, I realized I want to share the respect with the source with you today. So, process was as follows. Harvesting only ripe fruits. Sorting by density and visually. Then use the thermoshock when coffee cherries are given a heat shock of 80 degrees Celsius water for 20 seconds, following by a quick cool down with cold water. This process breaks sugars and pasteurizes the beans, which affects on the final taste of the coffee. After pulping, pulps are squeezed and the juice is added back to the beans. At the beginning of the fermentation, lactic yeast are added to the beans, which adds unique characteristics to the coffee. Fermentation process takes 120 hours, and during this time, sugars are broken down, which affects the final taste and acidity of the coffee. And finally, drying process takes 15 days. So, dear judges, this coffee I roasted on Ikava roaster in 50 grams batch size. Because of longer fermentation, I choose more gentle roasting. The roast profile is 7 minutes and 30 seconds long, with development of 17%. The end temperature is 205 degrees. This coffee I roasted 4 days ago, because at this time, coffee is most intense and aromatic. I mix the water by myself to bring out wanted characteristics to the coffee. So, the construction of water is 80 ppm of calcium to enhance structure and sweetness, and 80 ppm of magnesium to promote florality. For brewing, I'm using plastic origami dripper with conic-shaped paper filter because of slower flow rate. The plastic material heats up faster and holds temperature. I'm using 16.6 grams of coffee to 250 grams of water. So brew ratio is 1 to 15. I grinded this coffee coarser for a cleaner taste. It's 900 microns on my Comandante. My brewing pattern is for pours, never 30 seconds. So total time brew is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Pours are circular, and the last 20 grams of water is central to increase the extraction. Temperature of the water is 93 degrees. So now, dear judges, finally, it's time to enjoy this amazing coffee. But first, please note what you can expect in the cup. Are you ready? Perfect. So in the aroma, you will find hibiscus, guava, and tangerine. In the hot flavors, you will find hibiscus, guava, and raspberry. In the warm flavor, you will find peach, guava, and chocolate. In the cold flavor, you will find raspberry, blackberry, and chocolate. Aftertaste of this coffee is long, sweet, in all 3 stages. It's medium. Sorry, no medium, long, sorry. In the hot form, it's going to remind you guava. And in the warm and cold, it's going to remind you raspberry and chocolate. The acidity of this coffee is medium in all 3 stages. In the hot form, it's citric like tangerine and malic. In the warm and cold is malic and phosphoric like blackberry. So sweetness of this coffee is medium in all 3 stages. It's going to remind you marshmallows. Mouthfeel of this coffee is medium, juicy, and syrupy in all 3 stages. So now, dear judges, I will give you an instruction how to evaluate this coffee. So the aroma, please evaluate directly from the cup. Put your nose almost into the cup and stir the coffee with your cupping spoons. The flavor, just please a moment, thank you. The flavor, please evaluate by sipping directly from the cup. So now, dear judges, please evaluate the aroma. Enjoy. 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 So, dear judges, visiting the coffee farm was a great experience, and I wish anyone go there at least once. We need to keep reminding baristas and coffee drinkers how important is respect for the source, because it's a lot of work and human stories so far. So, dear judges, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy this amazing coffee, share this message about respect, and that's my time.